call the city council meeting to order at 6:30. Clerk Schultes, if you could read the preamble.
Thank you. In accordance with the applicable statutes of the state of Illinois and the ordinances of the city of Prospect Heights, notice is hereby given that the city council meeting of the mayor and the city council of the city of Prospect Heights is being held Monday, May 22nd, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in person in the city council chambers, Prospect Heights City Hall, 8 North Elmhurst Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois. Mayor Patrick Ludvigson presiding. This meeting will be broadcast live on cable channels Comcast and Astound RCN Channel 17 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. It will also be recorded and televised on Comcast and Astound RCN Channel 17 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. Attendees who wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be provided an opportunity during the meeting. There is a 5-minute time limit for speakers.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Ludvigson,
Here.
Treasurer Tibbetts,
Here.
Clerk Zajac is out with previous notification. Alderman Ward 1, Michelle Karen is out with previous notification. Alderman Ward 2, Terry Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Ward 3, Wendy Morgan Adams.
Here.
Alderman Ward 4, Danielle Dash.
Here.
Alderman Ward 5, Matt Dolick.
Here.
Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, approval of minutes. Need a motion for the approval of the May 8th City Council regular meeting and the May 10th City Council hearing regarding the business license number 79.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye. What about that here?
Aye.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Item 4, presentations. We have 2 today. The first is by Commissioner Sharon Hoffman for the Police and Fire Commission Annual Report. Thank you.
Good evening. The most recent meeting of the Prospect Heights Fire Commission was held on April 26th at 4 p.m., minutes pending approval. We have another meeting scheduled later this week, I believe. This year's most meetings were held in person with the exception of 5 special Zoom meetings, which occurred on Thursday, August 18th, September 2nd, Monday, September 19th, Monday, November 7th, and Thursday, December 15th. During this period of the last annual report of May 2022, the Commission convened 10 regular meetings, 5 Zoom meetings, 1 regular special meeting, and entered into executive session 5 times over the last 12 months. As business returns to pre-pandemic levels, we have today with this meeting by ending Zoom council meetings, which I was glad to see. It's nice to see smiling faces, not looking through masks, and leaving mask wearing as a personal option for those who feel free or just want to. The commissioners would like to take this opportunity to welcome our newly elected Mayor Patrick Ludvigson, while also thanking Acting Mayor Matthew Dolick for his tenure and serving the city this past year. Congratulations to all new and or re-elected officials on the City Council. Looking at the department's higher staffing levels, we are operating close to full capacity with 13 full-time officers, 2 part-time officers, 2 detectives, 7 sworn staff, supervisors, including our chief and deputy chief, 4 full-time civil staff, and 5 part-time civilian staff. I have to look at my notes because it's like a lot of numbers that keep going back and forth, so we're just trying to keep up. We have 1 recent full-time opening slot that we hope to fill with our next established list or a recent lateral candidate. Our promotion listing from last year includes no new promotions from last year, the last 3 being the chief, the deputy chief, and a Sergeant Smith, all that I mentioned in my last year's report. With all 3 who have been doing an excellent job keeping us moving forward and focused. It's worth noting that our usual list is supposed to last 2 years, but becomes exhausted within a year. So we will be hosting an annual testing day for the police officers on June 17th at Harper College, the satellite campus in Prospect Heights this year. We will also be testing and holding interviews for sergeants in the fall of this year. Keeping staffing levels stable helps us keep the city running with well-trained staff and allows us programming for the children over the summertime when they are most at risk, since they are out of school and need activities. Events that the police department has volunteered for or worked along with the city volunteer crew include community days on 6/4, Rolling Meadows Car Show, shred events, SO Torch Run, Summer Outreach, The Grove, Park District Block Party, Rock the Runway, Summer Outreach Zoom Pool, July 4th Parade, Quincy Park Block Party, Summer Outreach, Long Grove Car Show, National Night Out, Summer. So I can go on and on. There are 29 things that are entered here, but it just goes to show you, between volunteering and working, the police department is very, very established in making sure that the residents have activities and that the kids have things to go to, that they're really, really proud of our city and how we work so closely with our police department. So looking ahead, Chief Campanero has established some lofty goals for the police department this next year, which includes the following. The chief and his staff have been working on securing grant funds to help cover costs outfitting the officers with body cameras and on getting an additional officer position through grant funds to cover security at our local schools. With our schools being in close proximity, this would help with security and drill planning for all our District 23 schools. Thanks to the city for allowing us to secure our own full-time social worker this past year. Follow-up calls for service and referrals is a comprehensive strategy that helps provide wraparound services for victims and their family members who are in crisis. Just this month, social worker Angela Maldonado has secured $10,000 in Helping Hands and funding. This money will allow us to provide domestic violence victims access to hotel money to help them keep safe for themselves and their children. Finally, the chief and his staff are working on trying to create a youth citizens academy. You know, we got the adult citizens academy, but we thought maybe with working with the kids, that's a better way to connect so that we can open up a dialogue and learn from the youth today what types of struggles they're dealing with and how the police department can be there to assist them with reducing some of these stressors that are rarely talked about in schools or in their homes. Before I wrap this up, the commission would like to officially welcome our newest addition to the Prospect Heights police family, our comfort dog Rocco, who has been called to serve the citizens and any person who has experienced a crisis in our town. Rocco keeps the peace and is available to the officers or staff who just need a moment of tenderness. This helps keep us grounded and helps with the well-being of all who come in contact with him. We look forward to bringing him to community events, so please say hello to Rocco if you happen to run into him. In conclusion, Chairman Hoffman, Commissioner Fiorito, and Reedman would like to thank Mayor Levinson, Acting Mayor Dolik, and the City Council by extending our support and appreciation for allowing us to service the city of Prospect Heights. We respectfully request that this report be filed as an official report for the Fire Police Commission for 2022.
Thank you very much for the report. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The second presentation tonight is going to be by Jim, not by Scott.
Yeah, sorry. I'm no Scott. But
That's
good evening, everyone. Mayor, city council, city staff. My name is Jim Kiefer. I'm on the board of directors appointed by you, and I've been on 7 years. I'm hoping to go a couple more. Tonight is all good news as usual, because I'm a good news person, and bad news travels faster. Due to public comments at our meeting this recent month and others, we don't respond to public comments. However, we do listen to them, and we've instituted a few changes. And one of them is, besides posting our agenda for the meeting, we are also now posting resolutions that are going to be voted on. So we do listen. That's a good encouraging word. Certain things coming up. We always have an outstanding invitation to new members and old to visit the airport. If you do want to ride around the airport, we would like a couple of days warning, a week warning, but you're always welcome to pop in, and we're always open for comments. The fiscal year ended May 1st. The revenues are at 116%, and expenses are at 84%. So it was a good year. We roll money over, any excess money, we roll over into our capital improvement funds, whether it be equipment, facilities, and sewer. So we use that money. So our cash doesn't look as good as it sounds because we're always waiting for emergencies, whether it's more de-icing, taxes, and stuff like that. So coming up is the residential sound improvement program. We still have 614 applications. Good news, bad news is the FAA have approved $2.5 million for next year, and it was a little more than we requested. The bad news is we have to come up with 10% of that excess budget. It's usually 90-10. They provide 90%, we provide 10%. Last year, they finally, just recently, they just paid off their bill. So we received 98% of the funding that they had promised. Everybody promises us money, but we can't rely on it, and we still have to maintain the program. So that's good news. The noise exposure meeting, June 13th at the River Trails Public Library on Schoenbeck, June 13th. Proud to announce Aviation Academy. We have 30 students for next year, and the program is growing. And that's always great news to get people into the aviation program. We just signed a contract for the pavement repair. It's a yearly thing that we do. Most of the markings on the runway are done at the same time, June 24th, and that's because we shut down the airport for Rock the Runway. So once again, Rock the Runway and is on June 24th this year. What else? That's about it for me, and I appreciate your time and effort, and any questions I'll take.
Any questions?
So, 2 months in a row, easy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Item 5A involves Jim. I'm looking to get Jim Kiefer reappointed for another 3-year term on the Executive Airport Board of Directors. So I would look for a motion, then we could have discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion.
Second.
First and a second. Any questions or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Dash?
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams?
Aye.
Alderman Dolick?
Aye.
Alderman Anderson?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I'm
More years.
humbled and grateful.
Thank you. Item 6, public comment on agenda matters. I believe we have one speaker. George, is it Binder or Binder? Binder.
Can I approach bench or?
Yes.
Never done it before, so.
People coming to our doors is what you want to talk about. So if your
Yeah,
name.
today I had an experience, I live on 687 Spruce Drive in Prospect Heights, and thank you for your guys watching our houses, appreciate it. What happened was, this kid comes to my door, my wife answered the door, and he was about 25 years old, 24, 25 years old, maybe college student, I'm not sure. Trying to sell my wife spider removal, and he wanted to flush out my siding. And that's the words he used, flush my siding out. It's a pile of crap. I mean, I built my house. I've never known anyone who has to flush siding out. It's ridiculous. These guys are scamming elderly people I mean, my grandmother was in Skokie. They actually greased her snubbers on her carburetor. And that was 20 years ago. And then now they're coming to the door and trying to scam people about this. I think there should be something done about this, and you should be aware of these guys coming up. You know, I did call the police this morning on him, and the kid just gave me all sorts of lip. And I didn't want to have an altercation with him. I don't conceal carry, so there's no problem with that. But I just, these guys, these companies are coming out hiring these kids, or casing the neighborhood, looking and trying to sell elderly people products that are probably not even, I mean, have you guys ever had your siding flushed? Well, I never had that. So it's a scam, and there should be some little bit stronger, I don't know, do these guys have to come to the city hall to apply for a permit to walk around the neighborhood, or, I don't know this, but, you know, he was quite blazing.
I was going to ask the chief that question.
Sir, appreciate your comments today. Well, first of all, yeah, if you want to go, we call it peddler, and you're peddling a business, you do have to come to the city for a permit. As long as they have the proper identification permits, they are free to do that. Now, I agree with you, most of them are scammers. I do, however, this young person who said flush your, I think he may have meant wash your siding, because that's done often.
My wife said he said flush.
He may have used the wrong words.
Yeah.
Needless to say, rarely though in Prospect Heights does somebody travel more than a few blocks before either City Hall or Police Department gets a call, because it's a nuisance. And those types typically get called on, and if they don't have the proper permits, we kindly ask them to leave, or they can be issued a village ordinance violation, and they don't want to do that. Now, there are the scammers who say they're there for a reason, get you to go out back, and while you're out back, they're rummaging through your house. That's a different level of a nuisance. That's a crime. And typically, if you ask more questions, they just turn around and leave. So this kid may have been legit. I don't know, but I can tell you that just tell your neighbors to keep an eye out. And the residents are very good at that. When they see people knock on each door, they rightly so call 911. We respond within minutes. We have a very good response time. And if they don't have the proper permit, they leave. I get your view here, but you have to call 911. You did that, correct?
Yes, I did.
And the gentleman left?
No, he was continue walking around.
Okay, so he must have had the proper permits.
Yeah, I don't know, but I didn't want to avoid an altercation with him, so I didn't press him too hard. But he went down to one of my neighbor's house, and she's babysitting 4 little kids, and I said, you know, don't let him in your house. What do you do? You know, I walked in, and I told him, and he's walking up to the driveway, and he says, I told her she's not interested, and he went right by me and said, we'll see. I'm sorry. He said, we'll see. And so then he went to the door, and she said, get out of here.
We don't mind doing our job, and that's responding to any person who calls, whether legit or not. That's our job to find out if they are. If we allow them to stay, that means they have the proper permits, and there's really nothing the city or the police department can do about that.
Okay, I'm just concerned. I mean, Joey was telling me today that there was 4 people that were caught at 2 o'clock in the morning on our block, and one of them was arrested. So, I mean, it's out there, and I'm just concerned about our neighborhood and our neighbors and the old elderly people who get scammed by saying, oh, you gotta have your he said to my wife told me flushed. And I said, oh, I've never heard that before.
And you'll see in the quarterly, I address the scam issue, and we actually go to meetings. Rob Roy, we went to the library, Gary Barava. So we do try to educate not just the elderly, but everybody, because it seems like monthly there's a new scam out there, and we try to keep the citizens apprised to what's next and what's the newest.
Well, I appreciate your help in
You're
here.
very welcome, sir. Thank you.
We back the blue.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, that's,
Thank you.
I just want to make you guys aware of this and what's happening out there, because, you know, they were taking advantage of elderly people who were, you know, oh yeah, I think I had my house flushed, you know, okay.
Maybe Dan can go through the process of how to get a permit when they do come.
When a solicitor comes in, there is an actual application they do fill out. They have to provide their credentials. They are identified that way. There is a small fee to get that. So there is some checks and balances. It does go then to the PD to let them know that who's out in the field. Particularly, where I'm not aware of anyone recently in the neighborhood, but we can check. Did they mention if you want to leave me a name or an email or a phone call, we can follow up on that. If they gave your wife a name, a company name.
Yeah, my wife didn't get that far. She pretty much told him to leave right away. But I caught the last 2 minutes, and he and I locked eyes. He knew there was a trouble here. So, okay, I'm just a concerned citizen, and I just want to make you guys aware of what's happening. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item 7, the consent agenda. I'm going to ask if anybody has any problems with A through E. If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Does anybody want anything pulled off? Okay, and I'll look for a motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second?
We have a first and a second. No questions? It's a consent agenda, so we'll need a roll call.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolan.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 8, there is no old business. Item 9, new business. A, we have a request from Jeans Village Towing to amend the city's towing contract to allow Jeans Village Towing to charge $35 for a lien processing fee for towed vehicles and $50 cleanup for vehicles towed from a collision. We'll look for a motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second?
Zach, we have a motion and a second. Any questions?
You know, I had.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I guess I was curious with the little bit of Googling I've done here on my computer. What is, has the city looked into recouping the accident response fees from insurance companies that we incur as a city? So like we pay the towing company, right, for people who are getting in accidents?
Never.
No.
The people pay it, or the insurance company, people's.
You want to
Okay,
step up?
okay, so we're not paying it?
No.
Oh, check.
And there's no charge to the village at all.
Check, got it. So these fees that they're asking for are not paid by the city. They're part of the package that ultimately an insurance company would pay for.
Correct. And
Great,
the
so
lien
you answered
law,
our questions.
the lien law is a state law that we have to prepare paperwork. And within a certain amount of time period after towing every vehicle, we have to go online, pay for a service, get the registered owner and any liens, banks who own the vehicle, and then we have to send out certified mail, send something to the post office. And certified mail right now is $8.60 per letter. Some vehicles have between 2 to 3 liens or different registered owners. So we're sending $8.60 times 3, plus the time and labor that it takes to do that. So we pass it on and put it with the ticket that whoever pays for it, whether it be an insurance company or the owner of the vehicle. Because it's a law that we are required to do.
Yeah, the state of Illinois is starting to enforce it now. It's their law. We don't like it, believe me. It's a lot more work for us.
Well, for the record, I think that lien law is one of the few things that the Illinois legislators passed. It may create more work for you guys, but years past, and both of you know that a registered owner who had no idea their car was towed or being stored daily storage fees and not knowing, which is
the reason for this law. So on that side, it's a great law, however, it does
It is a
create
good law.
more
It's a good law.
paperwork to you, but it almost immediately notifies someone who's not aware their vehicle is still, including the lien holder, possibly a bank, that he stores charges. So it's terrific law. If I may though, I have a question on the cleaning portion, because the Prospect Heights Police Department provides services, but we also, we're a complaint department. People call us often complaining, and so what I need to, for this charge, they will call, believe me, they'll call. So I need to give them an answer to that. And is there a threshold of minutes spent cleaning, or is it every crash regardless? I'm gonna need to notice, because believe me, they're gonna be calling when they see this charge.
So the way we've structured it is average two-vehicle collision requires 20 minutes, maybe more, half hour of cleanup. Cleanup consists of bag of oil dry. If you have two vehicles that collide front end on front end, you're going to have antifreeze, engine oil, transmission fluid, washer solvent, our steering fluid. There's a lot of different fluids on the road. We need our job is to properly clean it up, and we have to use oil dry. Bag of oil dry has tripled in price like everything else in this world right now. And a bag of oil dry is roughly $15 plus. We could go out to an accident scene and use sometimes one, sometimes 2 or 3 bags of oil dry. It's costly. So we've added a $50 fee because that requires our drivers to take the time to sweep up, which you've been on many accident scenes. We had a very bad one on 83 last week, and we were there for 3 hours, and we had to bring our street sweeper out there, our own street sweeper, to sweep the roadway. So we used 15 bags of oil dry there. So
That was not charged $50.
so
Well, the explanation probably helps everybody here, and it will help if and when somebody calls a complaint. Now I can easily explain that.
And that's besides picking up all the glass,
Sure.
everything else. The
Plus-
plate, it's getting to be, these cars are all plastic now, so.
Can my guys that do us this, can we get some of that back to the PD, or just, that's not possible?
and it also consists of the disposal fee too, because
Sure, yes.
our dumpster fee is, we have one dumpster specifically for nothing but crashing.
Thank you for the explanation, that really helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just had a quick question, and I'm posing this as an open question, not that we should or couldn't, but in contracts like this, is it, I guess we can, but is it customary that we make amendments to a contract like this in the middle of the contract? If they have a year or 2 left? I don't know exactly how long, but.
This is not our contract. I think what you're talking about, there was a bidding process. There's a difference, in my opinion, between a contract and a bidding. There was no bidding process? No. So there were.
It's the proposal.
Right, right. So it wasn't it's not like a contract that we're entering into, for them to go out and tow these cars. So I don't, and that whole process is still kind of new. That's only been around for a few years, or 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I think, I don't know, as far as having a process to hire a towing company or to bring one into the city. So why don't you go ahead? I saw you
Sure.
heated up the mic there.
Yeah, just so we're clear, there was no bidding on this one. It was sent out for a proposal, and you got people responding to the proposal. The question about amending halfway through, complaints do get, or contracts do get amended after folks realize there was a gap or some change in the law or whatever it might be. So this is not completely out of the blue.
All right, that's all I have, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. We have a roll call.
Thank you. Alderman Dolan?
Aye.
Alderman Dash?
Aye.
Alderman Anderson?
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Item B, Staff memo on ordinance 02312, authorizing map amendments, rezoning of certain territory from B3 commercial, wholesale and general services district to B5 commercial industrial district. This is just the first reading, so it's just for information only. Anybody want to comment on it? Dan?
Thank you, Mayor Ludwigson. To refresh everybody's memory, with the disconnection of the territory along Sanders Road, which was our 01 Office Research Park District, it eliminated a section of the law that we're required to have to protect ourselves against First Amendment of the Constitution actions, specifically free speech for the adult sexually oriented businesses. So since that happened, I've spent considerable time researching the city, looking for locations that could be suitable alternatives, and we did identify a couple parcels along Palatine Road, 79 and 81 East, on the south side of the airport. So this was presented to the PCBA back in April and again in March and in April for their consideration, and they passed the map amendment creating the new B5 district, which has all the same uses as the B3, only we added the sexually oriented businesses that were mimicked what was in the 01 district. So it's a way for us to create the territory, and then the next ordinance would pass the text for the new district, so that we would be in compliance with, and the ability to A, regulate the locations, which we can do because we can't regulate the content, and also then create the rules once we've established the territory. So, in summary, that's what we've been working on, and that's what's before you tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a map in there too that shows exactly where it's at. So that will be on the next agenda for a second reading.
Correct.
Item D, requesting waiver of first reading of 02314 staff memo and ordinance directing the sale of surplus property, 2014 Ford Explorer, and a 2012 Ford Explorer. And again, this is a first reading. Is there a request waiver?
Waiver, yeah.
Oh, there it is, request waiver, sorry about that. Still new at this, so might take a meeting or two. So this is a request for waiver of first reading for the sale of surplus property, those two vehicles. So I need a motion for the waiver of the first reading request.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Dolan.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And then item E is ordinance 02314, staff memo and ordinance directing the sale of surplus property, a 2000 Ford Explorer, the 2012 Ford Explorer. So this is the second reading. Get a motion to pass this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolan.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Staff, elected officials, and commission reports. We'll look to the left first. Anybody on the left side here have any comments or questions or things you want to add? No? Anybody on the right side here? No? Other than our finance guy. All right. Go ahead.
He doesn't look like Sherry.
Sherry couldn't make it tonight, so I'm in her place. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members and staff. I'd like to give a report on the April 30 financial report. and they're unaudited at this time. And speaking of the audit, we're having this week starts our preliminary audit field work, with our full field work coming in July with our auditors. So we'll be busy with them over the next couple of months. We just got out of budget season, now we're in audit season, so we're working with them. So as of April 30 of 2023, 100% of the year has passed, and the city is showing total revenues representing 133% of budget, with total expenses 109% of budget. Some items of note, a couple items of note regarding our revenues and our expenses for the fiscal year this year, 23. We have a high interest rates on our accounts, which have brought us some favorable interest income on some of our bank accounts and also investments. We're also seeing nice improvement in the hotel revenue tax and also places for eating tax, trending towards a pre-pandemic level of revenue. Sales and income tax showed a favorable increase this year. Water and sewer funds, the revenue expenses were within the budgeted parameters. And also, just as usual, the staff has continued to monitor expenses in keeping them in line with budgeted expectations. So at that point, I know that the report wasn't submitted in the packet, but I'll have a report for you tomorrow, so everybody will have a copy of the report. I think it just got missed out of the packet this time. Sorry about that. Apologize for that. So at that point, that's what I have for the financial report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Item 11, approval of warrants.
Okay. The total of $182,207.33. A May 5th, 2023 payroll, $166,566.04. April IMRF payment of $16,680.01 for a total warrant of $365,453.38.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Dolan.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Item 12, public comment, non-agenda matters. Is there anybody? Karen?
Nobody else.
That's it? All right. No executive session tonight. Item 15, for a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We are adjourned.